here we go. We are going to jump into PPC for launch now. This is the most important part of all of this, I think, because this is going to be the main source of your traffic. Remember, we talked about traffic and conversions. You've got, at launch, you don't have any organic traffic. Everything is paid. So keep in mind, PPC for launch, we're going to discuss, this is what we're going to cover. We're going to discover what to do in the first 30 days. Keep in mind that you're usually not trying to be profitable on a daily basis for the first 10 to 20 days while you're in launch mode. And a lot of sometimes even through growth mode for a month, a month or two after that. Most important thing is going to be indexing and sending the right converting traffic to Amazon. So this launch strategy is pretty aggressive and expensive. We're going to talk about the main reason that it's more expensive than it even used to be is because of the fact that a lot of those outside traffic rebate strategies are no longer allowed. They are, very strict against it and definitely very clear against terms of service. So the majority of your traffic now needs to come from paid traffic inside of Amazon. So we're going to assume that over 90% of the time, inside Amazon traffic, pay-per-click marketing is going to be more than enough for you to rank your product effectively if you've done everything else that we talked about today effectively. So you've done your keyword research, you've picked a product that isn't overly saturated, you've got a lot of keywords, a lot of routes, you've written your listing in an optimized way, you've set up your PPC campaigns in the way that we're going to teach you how to set them up, and you're sending the right signals and your content is great. If you do all of those things and check all of those boxes, you are going to have enough traffic from PPC the vast majority of the time. The outside traffic will be for when you need additional that we talked about earlier. So the ACoS can be as much as 200%. We like to see it below 100% within the first week. That 200% is very, very high. But a lot of times people are okay to swallow 200-300%. But what I'll tell you is if that's happening, there's a big issue. If you're not converting, there's an issue with your offer. There's your offer does not drive as much value as your competitors. Your click-through rate might be a little too low. Your conversion rate's too low. You need to optimize and figure out how to fix that very quickly. So in that first week of launch, we're going to talk about all the different ways to optimize. Keep in mind, it's going to be pretty expensive for 3 to 12 weeks, depending on how long the launch and a lot of times the growth phase is. So here's how we make decisions on whether to optimize, turn on or turn off the campaigns. If the top decision that we need to make around a campaign is keywords movement, organic keyword ranks, that's going to be the biggest lever for us. The reason that that's the biggest lever for us is because it drives organic traffic. It drives organic sales, which are essentially maximum profitability. You have to think to yourself that if you're driving paid traffic, you're paying for it, so it eats into your margins. You need to have a good solid blend where the majority of your sales are coming from organic in order to make sure that the product as a whole is profitable. When you talk about the product as a whole in profitability, you're talking about what we call tacos. And we're going to get into some of these definitions in a minute. But let's first talk about whether to turn on, like keep a campaign or turn it off. And what we're going to say is that the keyword ranks on one side of this chart and profitability is on the top. If keyword ranks are moving in the right direction, even if it is not profitable, we will probably keep it on. And the exception here is if the keyword ranks that are moving are not going to justify the cost. You need to do math here, and you need to understand what is the upside of ranking for the keywords that you're pushing. If you're going to spend and lose $5,000 over the course of 2 months or 8 weeks to rank organically in the top 3 for a few keywords that are only going to make you an extra $50 a day in profit, that's a really long payback period. That's 100 days. That might not be worth it, right? So you need to ask yourself, are the keywords I'm pulling the lever on going to be, is it going to be worth it? And if the answer is yes, then not being profitable, but keywords moving in the right direction is perfectly fine. Keep them on. If you're breaking even and the keywords are moving profitable, it's a no-brainer. If you're profitable and the keywords are moving in the right direction, it's no-brainer. Basically, anything the keywords are moving in the right direction, as long as those keywords are going to be able to be paid back over a reasonable amount of time for the cost it took to get there, then it's okay. Now, if the keyword ranks are neutral, they're not moving up or down based on the spend that you're doing in PPC, you're going to turn off those keywords. But if you're breaking even, you're going to keep them on. And the reason is because you're contributing to your overall revenue. And revenue is a ranking factor. So even though you're not moving the keywords in the right direction, your BSR, your bestseller rank, is moving in the right direction. You are impacting your overall revenue, which is a ranking factor, and you're impacting your bestseller rank and your subcategory rank. Your subcategory rank can matter because people still use it to shop. So if you push hard enough and you rank into the top 5 of your subcategory, or even into the top 1, and you get a bestseller badge, your conversion rate can go up significantly overnight, and it can turn not profitable campaigns into profitable campaigns. So there's a threshold that you can hit if you push hard enough. But you need to make sure you have enough inventory to do so, and you need to make sure you have enough resources to do so. So I'll say that if you're breaking even, keep pushing as long as you've got the resources to keep up with it. You need capital, you need inventory. Now, if it's profitable and you're keeping keyword ranks, you can keep them on. Now, the only way you wouldn't do this is if your conversion rate is abysmal, right? And it's hurting other keywords ultimately. Like it's just not gonna be good. Now, if it's not profitable, if anything is impacting your keyword ranks negatively, you turn it off, even if it's profitable. Just keep that in mind. You can have keywords with a 0.001% click-through rate that converts, at 50%. You get, over the course of thousands and thousands of impressions, you get 2 clicks and you get a sale. You want to keep that on because it looks good. Your ACoS is low. Your conversion rate's 50%. That doesn't matter. That very, very, very low click-through rate is likely hurting you, and it's probably going to move the keyword ranks in the wrong direction. So you need to turn it off. So use this kind of as a guide, but understand the logic behind each box. Okay. So here are some abbreviations that you're going to hear a lot. You're going to hear CTR, which is click-through rate. That's the total clicks divided by total sessions. Cost per click is CPC. That's your total spend divided by your total clicks. You spend $100, you get 10 clicks, it's $10 a click. That'd be very expensive. Your conversion rate is going to be CVR. So that's units sold divided by sessions. So if you have 1 unit sold in 100 sessions, that's going to be a 1% conversion rate. That's really bad, right? And then the sessions is basically the clicks. Your ACoS is your advertising cost per sale. So this is going to be your total PPC spend divided by your total PPC sales. Total PPC spend divided by total PPC sales. You spend $100, but you make $200 in revenue from PPC, then that's a 50%. 100 divided by 200 is 50% ACoS. If that number is above your margin, your profitability margin, then you're losing money on that campaign. That's a negative contribution to your bottom line, right? And we would only continue to do that if it's really pushing the keyword ranks in the right direction and we need it. Now, the tacos is more important. This is total advertising cost of sale. This is your total PPC spend divided by total sales. Now, this is a better measure because your total sales can be impacted by your PPC, but not directly. They can be impacted indirectly, remember, because they impact your keyword ranks upwards. They impact your BSR. They impact other ways you can get sales that are not directly related to PPC. So you might see an increase in ACoS and an increase in spend, but also an increase in profitability in tacos. So that's going to be what we want to use as an accurate measure as to the health of our PPC is going to be our tacos. And I'll give you an example here. We spend that same $100 on PPC, but our total product made $400. That's a 25% tacos, right? Now SD is sponsored display. Exact match is going to be ads show up on keywords that share plural in conjunctions. This is super important. Let's talk about how these matches work. When you set up a PPC campaign and you do an exact match, you would think that it's only going to show up for the exact keyword you did. So dog bed would only show up for dog bed. That's not the case. It's going to show up on plurals and keywords with conjunctions. Okay, so we need to be wary of that. They do need to be phrase match, though. They do need to be in order. So broad match is going to be when the keywords they share a plural, that share plural and conjunctions in any order. So the broad is the same words mixed with some conjunctions and in any order. So dog bed, if you target dog bed with broad match, it can show up for a bunch of keywords that have dog and bed in it in any order. So it could show up for dog bed for large dogs, which would be a phrase, an actual phrase match, not just a broad match. Or it could be your beds for large dogs would be another broad match. So you need to be aware of that when you do a broad match, it's very wide reaching and you're giving Amazon a lot of range. So you want to be careful with what you turn on from a broad match perspective, because you might end up too broad with too many targets and very hard to optimize. Now, a phrase match is going to be a little bit more controlled because the words have to be in order. Dog bed would have to be in order in that keyword and together. So you cannot have dog, if you target dog bed, you cannot have bed for large dogs. You cannot have dog furniture beds, right? That's not going to be a phrase match because it's not in order. Phrase match has to be in order and together in order to be a phrase match. So that's going to be a little bit more controllable to the route that you're targeting. So you got sponsored product ads is SP. This is going to be ads that are typically shown in search results. These are going to be like the ones that you see on that detail page. Now you've got a lot of spots that Amazon's giving away. So it's getting out of control with all the different ad placements that they have. But I can show you an image later with how in search results, you're down to very few organic and almost everything's paid now. It's pretty ridiculous. Sponsored products are going to be your biggest lever for rank, though. Sponsored products impact rank positively when they convert well, whereas sponsored brands, sponsored display, and DSP do not. All right. The only way that those impact SB, SD, and DSP impact ranks are going to be indirectly through driving down your BSR and your subcategory rank, as we talked about before. So those typically I will do to try to lower BSR, take market share, and drive more profitability into the business in the long run. But they're not going to be for directly impacting your keyword ranks. So SP is going to be your best friend. These are going to be good as well, but not as useful for keyword ranks. So rules for plurals and conjunctions. Okay, if your organic is dog hat, or dog hats or hats for dogs, if you run PPC for dog hat, it will show up for all of these. Okay, it's the same exact word. So if you have a PPC campaign, exact campaign targeting dog hat, it will target it will show up on the keywords for dog hat, dog hats, and hats for dogs. It won't show up for hats for dogs. It has to be in order for exact. Now, it will show up if that's a broad match for sure. Now, dog hats will also show up for dog hat and dog hats. It shows up for the plural, the singular, and any words where they're in order with conjunctions in them. Dogs in beds, it'll show up for dog bed. I don't know why you'd search for dogs in beds, but that's what it would. So all unique keywords, all the same keywords. It's very interesting that, and this needs to be in order. So we'll fix that later. Goals for total advertising cost of sale. So goals for tacos. Now, we used to limit the tacos. Our strategy used to be that we would limit the tacos at launch based on our projected sales after 30 days. So the way we would do the math is that we wanted it to be 30% of our projected sales of what we were comfortable spending at launch. So for example, if we thought we could sell 30 units a day at $20 a unit, that would be $600 in revenue. And we wanted to spend 30% of that on ads because that would mean that we have a 30% tacos, which would be $180 on ads. That used to be our launch North Star. The reality is, without the outside traffic now, and the fact that you don't have any organic traffic coming from day one, you pretty much need to be unlimited and uncapped. You should be willing to spend what Amazon's willing to give you, as long as you're throttling overly aggressive keywords that are generic or overly competitive. So for example, dog bed would be a keyword that I would probably not spend unlimited on, because you can get thousands, hundreds of clicks a day and spend thousands of dollars. And the conversion rate's not going to be as good as some of the long tail keywords that are more specific to your product, right? So extra fluffy dog bed is going to be better for you if you've got an extra fluffy one, for example, right? That's more long tail, more descriptive, more relevant. Therefore, it should convert better, right? That's what we're talking about when we talk about higher relevancy, less relevancy, more relevancy. But throttle your spend on these keywords that are generic or that are just overly competitive because they're the main route. In the growth phase, you've got 25% tacos, and I'm going to give you an example. I do walk you through this. I'm going to walk you through setting up PPC campaigns in a second. During the growth phase, we're going to have 25% tacos. So this means that if we're generating that $600 a day in sales, then we want 25% of that, $150 is going to be where we want to be spending every day to generate $600 in sales. That's a healthy amount. Now you can go up to 40% if you're being overly, very aggressive. But we don't want to see anything above 50% in growth, because we don't want the majority of your sales to be coming from paid, because it converts lower. What's going to happen is you're pushing and pulling at the same time. You're pushing traffic and conversion, but you're pulling your conversion rate lower. So your performance is lower. So your rank is getting lower. You're not going to be able to push the rank. So you want to throttle that. You could be 25, and I can say, let me fix this, 25 to 40%. And then in maintenance, you're going to want to be 5 to 15%. So this is when your product is pretty much ranked for all the keywords. You've tested it. You've done your content. You're really in profitability mode. You're in maintaining market share mode. You've got your percentage of the market share. You're running ads, and you're running all these different ads to kind of keep your competitors from getting more sales because you're taking more of the market. This is when you're going to want to be spending no more than 15% of your total revenue. So let's say you've increased it to $1,000 in revenue a day. You want to be no more than $150 in ads. Okay. Now this percentage has gone up over the last year. Pay-per-click, because of the changes in terms of service, everyone's spending more on pay-per-click, not just us. So pay-per-click costs have gone up. What you're paying per click has gone up. And therefore, your percentage of tacos, your percentage of ACoS has gone up as well. So here are the phases. During launch, you're talking about the first 10 to 20 days. Within the first week of launch, you should be ranking and indexing for most keywords. You should be on page 1 of most of your keywords by the end of day 20. What you're going to be looking for is that you're measuring your conversion rates, you're measuring your click-through rates, you're testing new content, and now you're starting to optimize for the keywords that need to get extra push. You're optimizing for any holes in your indexing, and you're optimizing for sending traffic for growth. You're starting to get into a position where you want to grow and be more aggressive with the things that are doing well and less aggressive with the things that are doing poorly. You can try to diagnose the poorly converting keywords and performing keywords, but for the most part, you're doubling down on the things that are good. Now, ongoing, you have growth. This is when you're looking at those keyword ranks, you're testing content, you're adding more campaigns, you're doing more placement, you're optimizing for keyword rank. And what we're going to teach you in this class is that when you set up your campaigns, initially, you're doing it based on root word, because similar roots should have a similar performance to each other. So it's going to allow for you to optimize easily. Now, what happens sometimes is that longer tail versions of those roots might perform better or worse. And in that same set of campaigns, you might still want to separate them out. You still might want to segment even further and push harder on the good ones and pull back on the bad ones. Now, with max potential, this is you've taken as much of the market share as you think you can. Maybe you've launched some additional variations, and you're kind of just trying to maintain market share and increase profitability. So now you're maximizing the profit, you're maintaining the keywords, you're testing less spend. So you're trying to see what happens if you lower your budget for the day on a campaign. So it's only on for half the day. What does it do? Do your sales go to your organic? Do your sales go down significantly? Do your keywords start to go down? Like, you're just testing. And then you're monitoring those keyword ranks. Is that someone asking a question, or are they just unmuted? Okay. So let's talk about optimizing. Let's go back to launch because I think I don't get to it. Let me just, okay, I do get to it. Here's activating. Here's PPC timeline. Okay. All right. So here's your launch. Day 0, we're going to target. Now, product targeting campaigns usually don't work that well. We're only going to do it for a day or two, and then we're going to optimize it very quickly, but we want to index. For a lot of our launches, we're not even doing product targeting anymore, to be honest. So it's something that we want to at least do it to try to map our indexing to our competitors if we see that they're good on the master keyword list. So it might not even be all 25 competitors. It would probably be the one that's the best indexed, or the ones that are best indexed for the highest percentage of search volume. Those are the ones we kind of want to map against. You're usually going to struggle against them because unless you're launching at a significantly lower price with a great offer, your content is just significantly better. Those are the best sellers typically, and you're gonna struggle against them. But every click and conversion and matters. Every add to cart matters when you're sending this initial traffic. You're trying to send a lot of signals to the algorithm. So you're indexing off of their keywords when you do that. When you show up on their detail page, someone searched a keyword, came into their listing, then clicked into your listing and bought you. That's a very strong signal to Amazon that you're very similar to that product. So you're indexing the keywords of your product to their products at launch. After 12 clicks and no conversions in the first 4 to 6 days, you can turn it off. Just be very quick about turning it off. It can be a waste of money. It's very hard to dial it in and make a lot of money on product targeting. Remember, and you're doing sponsored product targeting, not SD, because it doesn't this one's going to help with keyword ranks if at all. And what's interesting is product targeting does sometimes show up for keywords too, not just on the detail page of the competitor. They will map you against keywords that one's ranked well for and also show you up on the search results. So be wary of that as well. All right, day 0. We're gonna tell you what this is, and then we'll walk you through it. So we group by root word and select all the relevant roots. We're gonna we did that already. We selected all the relevant words, but I'm gonna show you how it looks. We're going to select the roots and broad match roots. So the roots and the broad matches of those roots. We're going to target relevant keywords only. We're going to target keywords that have 25 monthly monthly searches. So that's very low. We're going very deep here. And we're going to go as deep as you want. So it's budget dependent. So you don't need to go to 25. You can kind of separate it. You can turn off the really long tail, but you want to bid aggressively here. So let's see what that looks like. So if I were to be launching this dog bed, let's say that I ordered 30,000 units and I'm ready to go. We got to get our PPC fired up. So we're going to go to the PPC keywords. We got to import those. So we're going to import the keywords from the master keyword list after we've supposedly cleaned it up. We didn't do much cleaning up, so we're going to end up with a lot of dirty keywords in here, I bet. Like this is a misspelling, right? Like we definitely don't want this one in there, but it's very low and probably won't show up because misspellings won't show up from the roots. I hope not. So we've got PPC campaigns for launch. I only use this. I don't use the other PPC keywords, but it's useful. And if you tie your account to Data Dive, you can push these all directly to Amazon. So that's really good. But let's go back through and see what our roots were that we want to target at launch. So we definitely wanted cat bed. We wanted dog bed. Now this is massive, but because maybe we can keep it off. But you'll see all the keywords. There's 231 keywords in a ton. So you can do this one of two ways. So let's keep it off and then we can go back and see if we missed anything. But what Data Dive will do for you is it will prioritize the longer tail routes over the shorter tail to help you optimize even further. So it's not going to put everything in the top of the shortest route. It'll try to prioritize the longer tail route. So we got cat bed. We only got 4 keywords there, so we're going to go for it. We've got dog bed large, bed large dog, bed for large dog, dog bed large dog. We decided not to use that one before, right? And we're not selling medium dogs, but we are going to do dog bed medium. And remember we're doing the broad match of the route as well because we're setting up exact campaigns and those are different. There's no overlap if we select both. Dog bed, medium dog bed furniture, large dog bed. And right now we've got a total. Oh, dog bed is here. Okay. 297 keywords. 9 routes so we out of 297. We'll see what we got in a second. It does some math for us too, so we can see how aggressive. Let's see, washable dog bed. If we did write the clearance in there, we can try to target it. Bed, large dog clearance. Oh. And then puppy bed, XL dog bed. All right, we're going to start there for now. There's puppy bed and XL dog bed. Now we would have gone down. We would have continued to go down for launch, right? We want to be a little bit more aggressive. We'll see how many keywords this is. We want to make sure we get all these routes that we had. I think dog pillow is interesting if we built it into our listing. I want to show you something. I did click on the beta for the listing builder. All I did was click the button and the AI wrote this for me. Remember our top score before was 3.9 million. Now it's 4.9 million. 4.7 million for the title. Here's the title. Look at all the exacts in the title. And then it also wrote the bullets and the description. I got to go back in and rewrite this because it just stuffed these. So don't worry about those. And when you do this, you can choose what you want it to write. So that's coming, guys. I don't know if it's turned on for everyone yet. But this title is maximum and maximum for roots as well. So it looks like it's functioning pretty well. Back to PPC campaigns for launch. Let's set up our general parameters. Now, it's really important that you guys have a naming convention that's very standard, okay? And that's a slide that that we should have had in here that we don't, but I need to provide it for you guys for later. But typically, we're going to have the match type, the root word, okay? And we're going to have the ASIN, and those are going to be really important. So the root, the match type, and the ASIN are included, all right, in this naming convention. That's really, really important. Now, you can have an ad group default bid. You can increase that. Suggested bid. Here's your multiplier here. So your suggested bid, and you can do like 1.5 up to 2, whatever you want to do. Campaign suffix can be like, again, so root. Yeah, you might have to push these all individually by root if you do it that way. I got to figure that out because I want to. That reminds me. So Marlene, send a message to Glenn and Florence. Say that I want a button to click here that will add root to naming convention, because all these roots are different, and I want them in the naming convention for every single one.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. If it already isn't, but I'll see in a second. All right. So you got your suffix. This can be your ASIN, right? And this is what it looks like. So your campaign looks like this. Sponsored products, exact, your date that you created it, and your ASIN, and then I would have your root or whatever. Now, I don't want to have a large spread of search volume because Amazon throttles your search volume. So if you've got a keyword with 50,000 searches a month, together with a keyword that has 3,000 searches a month, that's significant. They're going to throttle most of that to the 50,000. So I want to have no more than like a 5 difference. So 50,000 to 10,000 would be the most I want, or 5,000 to 1,000, right? And I want no more than 5 keywords per campaign. So I've got this now. And now this is dog beds. These are generating hundreds of thousands a month in let's just go take a look, right? Like this is I said I could do 9,000 times $40 price point, maybe. What was the price point? Let me shrink this. Where was the guy that I said I could do what he was doing? 9,800. Oh, he's super cheap, but this is the cheapest version, right? This is the really small one, which is why he's probably doing so well, even though he's not very good at Amazon. It's because he's selling so cheap. And then when you click in, I guarantee you get a bunch more expensive options, right? So you got the small 1-pack, the medium 1-pack, you got all these ugly things here. And it gets more expensive from here, 26. Yeah. And all these larger ones. Let's see if anything's in stock. Let's see what a double X is, $56, right? So it's very interesting, but overall he's generating $195,000 a month in revenue. So I don't know, $6,000 a day. Let's say I want to spend up to, I don't know, $3,000 a day in marketing, or $4,000 a day. 75% tacos. Let's see, it's pretty much going to be uncapped, but let's say I want to spend 100%, so 6,000. Let's go back over here to PPC campaigns. Look what we give you the ability to do. I'm going to put a daily budget of $6,000, basically uncapped. I want to have campaigns with no less than $50, and then I want to distribute that budget. And what you see here now is that you've got all of your campaigns with a daily budget based on search volume. Now this is too big of a budget, but you're going to want to throttle this one. You're going to step this down. But yeah, and then the rest are going to be reasonable. These are all off. And you'll see that all of these campaigns are by route. Oh, it does have dog bed large in here, so it does put it in the naming convention. So Marlene, scratch that. It's already in here. So your root,
Okay.
Yeah, your root is in there, and then your rest of your naming convention with the date and the ASIN. Where's our ASIN? Oh, I thought we put our ASIN here. So ASIN is here. Yeah. And that'll, if you reapply, you have to like rebuild all. And then it should be here for you. This one campaign is ridiculous. $1,000. Probably isolate that one and then just launch that separately. Yeah, now so I turned off this really, really big one and it lowered the budget of this campaign to $357 automatically for us, so that we don't have a really large budget for no reason. And then it distributed the rest of the budget throughout the rest of these keywords based on search volume. So total search volume here is only 450 a month. So it's only the minimum of 50. But then you can come down here and you've got the bed large dog. You got $1,200 for this one campaign, dog, bed, large dog. And again, like we can turn this one off and it'll distribute the rest of the budget, but it's fine. Now I could push these directly to Amazon. I've got my naming convention. I'm targeting all the keywords. I'm over my budget. These are all relevant. They're sorted by root word. This is what we want to do at launch. We want to make sure that we've got all the root words that in our listing, and we've written it properly. Our content is great, and we're going all in here with our marketing. And we should start to see some clicks and some sales from day one, especially spending this much money. Any questions on this? Yeah, we can. We'll save some questions for the end. I'm going to do a Q&A, and maybe I'll tap. Jennifer just got off her call in the other office, so we can wait till the end for some additional. So we've got more PPC tools coming for you guys. This is just the beginning. We update features so quickly with Data Dive that this will be out of date in a month or two. We've got keyword tracker coming. We've got a dashboard, performance dashboard coming, where you'll be able to track your own keywords and optimize your campaigns directly in Data Dive. So if you're watching this 6 months from now, you're going to be like, wow, you didn't have that? Yeah, like it's kind of where we're at. So we're working on it. So let me go back to the slides, but that's how we set up our campaigns for launch. This is showing you what we do for root word, sorting it by root word, making sure that we've got budget distributed, some rules there around how Amazon throttles campaigns. And let's continue on with our slides. So from day 3 to 7, what you're seeing in the first few days is super important, because you're going to be able to change your main image out and see an immediate impact on your click-through rate. So remember, Anthony was talking about creating several main images. And if you change your main image on day 2 from day 1, and everything else is the same, your keywords are running, your campaigns are running, they're showing up in the same spots, the click-through rate performance of your PPC campaign is only as pure as your main image, right? Your price was the same, showed up the same. So that's going to give you a really pure indicator. There's no organic traffic and sales and clicks. You're not changing anything else. Those first 3 to 7 days before you really are starting to rank for a lot of keywords, that click-through rate is going to be a pure indicator of what image is the best, right? So that's where I like to test those images. Now, you want to be optimizing here for conversion rate and click-through rate. You're going to be optimizing the original campaigns. Really, really important. You're going to be activating broad phrase and phrase campaigns in the first few days. So day 3, day 4, day 5. Once you've established indexing and you see that some of these root words are doing really well, so you're going to pull the search term reports. You're going to look at what's been getting a lot of clicks and performing well and what's been performing poorly. You're going to go into these campaigns and you're going to see the subsets of these roots. Some are doing well, some are doing bad. You back off the ones doing poorly. You double down on the ones doing well by turning on active broad and phrase campaigns. So now we're pushing harder on the ones that are doing great. We're trying to solve and optimize the ones that are doing poorly so that we can get our blended performance up, right? And then we're monitoring the keyword ranks to make sure that we're starting to move in the right direction. So day 3 to 7, we've got those broad and phrase. We're going to target the most relevant keyword roots. So we went down that list. Now we're turning those on as broads. Maybe we go a layer deeper. So instead of dog bed, we got large dog bed, medium dog bed. We add the types of dogs. We add all these things, right? So we're really going a layer deeper so that we're not too wide and that it's controllable. Now we're going to normalize that list to ensure no overlap. So we automatically do that for you. That's going to be where, and I got to show you really quickly what normalizing is so you can get an idea. When you pull in those keywords here, you got this whole list of keywords. And here are the normalized keywords. You've got cat beds and cat bed, right? Cat bed. Remember when you run a campaign, it's the same thing as cat beds for PPC. Different for indexing and ranking, but the same for PPC. So what you need to do is eliminate the plural, but combine the search volume because the search volume is going to be the same. So what we've done for you is we've eliminated all the conjunctions and plurals. We've generated it down into the single keyword that will target all of those match type or all those similar keywords that have plurals and conjunctions in them that Amazon's going to show that ad for. And we've combined the search volume so you can get a realistic idea of how much search volume you're actually targeting. So it's super important that we do that for you because otherwise you're going to target a key. You're going to have overlap. You're going to have one keyword in one campaign and another one that are targeting the same thing. One's going to get impressions, one's not. You lower the bid on one. Now this one starts showing up and it becomes a nightmare for optimization because you know it's the same exact thing. It wasn't performing over here. Why would it perform over here? And believe me, it's a giant mess. So you need to normalize your campaigns and your keywords. So now here's another thing that you can do. Now you can choose with broad and phrase to have overlap, but keep your bids a little bit lower to force Amazon to kind of give you more keywords, right? You're targeting the exact right now already. And if you bid a little bit less, the exact is not going to show up because you're bidding more for the exact campaign usually. So what ends up happening is Amazon's digging deeper for you. But the broad and the phrase naturally overlap. So there's a way to do it there where you can change the bids and then make sure that the phrase is getting priority then the broad. So it'd be like a highest bid on exact, medium bid would be on your phrase, and then the lowest bid would be on your broad. That way you're prioritizing the exact match, second prioritizing phrase match of the root, and then the last priority would be the broad match in any order. That's one way. The other way to do that would be to negative exact all your keywords that you're targeting in the exact campaigns. And that's going to force your phrase to find longer tail keywords. For example, I've got large cat bed, right? If I negative exact, if I target large cat bed with this campaign, with a broad or with a phrase campaign, and I negative exact, the only keywords I can show up on are going to be keywords that have large cat bed in order with other words there too. So much longer tail keywords than just large cat bed. Could be large pink or pink large cat beds, large cat beds for furry cats, large cat beds for I don't know, fluffy cats. I don't like cats. I like dogs. But whatever it is, it's going to be showing up for the longer tail keywords. So that's another way to force Amazon to go longer tail for you, right? Now, with broad campaigns, if you negative phrase, the phrase, so you're targeting large cat beds with your broad campaign, and you negative phrase large cat beds, the only keywords that it can show up for are going to be keywords that have large, cat, and bed, those three words, but out of order or separated. They can't be in exact order. Though now you're forcing Amazon to really dig deep for you and find a lot more keywords. So it's a really great discovery campaign. is to do that broad but negative phrase, the broad word. Amazon's going to have to try to find keywords that are out of order with those 3 words. All right. So if we bid below exact but above suggested for broad, right? Yeah, this is what we were talking about with separate, making sure you're not bidding the same amount or higher with the broader ones. So this is day 7 to 10. You could turn on the auto a little bit earlier if your indexing is good and you've dialed in your conversions. Your auto is going to be the lowest bid of all the match types. And there's 4 types of auto. So you've got your loose match, your close match. Oh, missing. Yeah, and then there's 4 match types. What are the other 2 there? You can start 4 separate auto campaigns and only target each one individually and know that the loose is going to convert the lowest. This is going to be your long tail loosely related keywords. It could be accessories. It could be generic keywords. It could be gifts keywords. It could be really loose. Close match keywords are going to be keywords that they find that are super relevant for that product that you may have been missing. That's going to be the one that usually performs the best because it's highest relevant keywords. So you can target that one. You want that auto bid to be right around your broad match usually. Now your close will convert the highest. Okay to bid the most. Usually bid under 90 cents maximum, and bid somewhere between broad and phrase. This is kind of what I was saying. So day 7 through 14, you're going to be monitoring your keywords. Keywords should be ranking in the top 50, top 15, really. Like you should be really pushing. You should be on page 1 and making progress. If keywords are not showing up, make sure they're correctly written into the listing for maximum ranking potential. So you're going to need to go back and check your indexing. This is where if I'm really pushing harder on routes, I might rewrite the title. Remember, I'm going to start pushing 1 route at a time at this point for growth. I'm not really going super, super wide. I've kind of picked the routes that are doing well. I'm going to double down, and then I'm going to find the 1 or 2 that I really, really want to push, and I'm going to push really hard. I'm going to put those in the title to try to get them to rank even faster, to establish even more relevancy a lot of ways. Now, pull that search term report again. See what's performing well, what's performing poorly. See if you can segment your campaigns even more into higher converting and lower converting. You want the quality score of your campaigns to be like the same for all the keywords in it. You don't want a highly converting keyword and a poorly converting keyword in the same campaign, because you're going to end up diluting your quality score. Quality score is going to help determine how much you pay per click. The higher the quality score that Amazon sees for that campaign and for that keyword, the lower they're going to charge you per click, because they're going to want to reward you and want people to click on it, because they're going to make more sales. And when they make more sales, customers are happier and they make more money on the back end. You're going to be lowering your bids here as well. So this is when you're going to be really trying to push down those bids, but maintain top of search, or find out where you're converting best. Some keywords are going to convert best top of search. Some are going to convert best middle of page 1 or other. Now you need to figure out what that is, and you need to start pushing the bids up or down to get to that position. And then trying to slowly get rewarded and lower that bid and maintain that ideal position. Very important. You don't want to lower bids too quickly. If you are bidding $3 and Amazon's charging you $1.60, right, per click in your top of search, that's ideal, right? If you go to $1.40, you might kill the momentum of that campaign. You might kill the quality score and the momentum. And even if you go back to $1.60 or $1.70 or $2, you might not show up top of search anymore. So it's very, very important that you are throttling how quickly you lower the bids. Now you can go to $1.70 because it's above $1.60 and you shouldn't see any impact to your position, right? And then you can start to lower it by not even 5 to 10 cents. It's going to be less than, it's going to be like 5% max is what you want to kind of push per day. So, you know, if a nickel is fine. You're paying $1.60. You get to $1.60. Now you bid $1.55. If Amazon gives you the same impressions, you get the same clicks, and you're in the same ad position, that's going to be great. And you're going to continue to try it. You're going to let it sit for a few days, and then you're going to try it again, lower it again slowly. But if you lower it too quickly, you're going to get punished. We've already talked about the PPC matrix. And that's it. So let's get to questions for PPC launch strategy and the first month of launch. Baptiste.
Yeah, so I was wondering, how would you recommend the same strategy for relaunching products that have been going on for a while, or just do like you suggested a couple of hours ago, which is start with a new listing and then merge them once you got
So if things are going right, like there are things that are going right, then you can just start with one route. Find the route that you're missing, that you're not doing good on. Write it into your listing, see how it impacts your ranks. It could just be a relevancy issue, right? So write it into your title, that one route only. Don't rewrite the whole title. Then go in and launch all of the keywords you can, as deep as you can go, with that route in it.
Okay.
So you might target 50 keywords with that root word in it. And start sending traffic to that route to see if you could push it up.
But start that one route so that your bank account can grow and then take it from there.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Very good. Natasha.
Hey, I launched 3 products in the last couple of days, and I made a mistake. I didn't do the root word launch and set a budget. I did the other one. I have to say the ease of use is amazing for creating campaigns, but we went a little too big, and our ACOS on 2 of the products are like 500%.
Yeah, so you can back it off. What I would say is that's probably the result of a handful of keywords that you can quickly get off, but still maintain targeting a lot of the routes.
Okay.
Get a couple of those big spends down. Limit the bigger, what you can do, even like if you've got 40 clicks and like no sales on some of those big keywords, just turn it off for now. Lower the budget on a few of the bigger campaigns that are eating up most of your budget. Lower the budget on the campaign at the campaign level. And then you can, even to control your spend, put everything into a portfolio and limit the daily spend on the portfolio even.
Okay.
So these are all things you can do to try to control spend a little bit.
Okay. The other question is regarding the indexing with the root campaigns. Are we losing our opportunity because we didn't do it by root?
It's going to be tough because if you did it by search volume, you've got highly relevant and not highly relevant keywords in the same campaign. Your conversion within the campaign is going to be mixed.
Okay.
So
should we scratch them and restart, or could that really hurt us?
It couldn't really hurt you unless like you're really crushing. Like if there's a couple keywords that are superstars, don't relaunch those.
Okay.
Let those keep running. You could turn off pretty much everything else and then do this, but remove the ones you kept on.
Okay. Well, it's really exciting, all the tools, I just have to say. And even though I made a mistake, but it's pretty cool.
I appreciate it. Like you're always there. Like you show up, you work, and you're doing the work. So you're going to be successful. That's what it's about.
Yeah, thank you. It's I can't tell you, just optimizing for all of your advice, what it's done for our sales. We're like double right now. So
wow, over what period of time?
Like we really started working really hard about a month and a half ago, and it's just taken off for us.
Amazing. I love to hear it.
Yeah.
Send me a screenshot. I would love to see your BSR dip. I'd love to see keywords going up. Don't you can hide the sensitive information, but those screenshots, like when I see that, it makes it all worth it.
Okay. Our seller central.
So I pounded another Red Bull and I'm here.
I love it. But yeah, maybe we'll get to work together if we're lucky at the end of the night.
That's true. We might
Okay.
be starting a new
Thank-
brand.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk to you soon. Neil.
Hey there. Should we try doing defensive PPC campaigns for launch? Because I've heard a lot of people like to target new listings that have no reviews.
Well, if you're completely optimized, they're going to be in for a rude awakening when you're crushing them. Like, so if you've got a lot of products, you should be targeting yourself. I don't do defensive from launch, I don't think. Let me ask Jennifer. That's a really good question because I know we do a lot of defensive. Our brand targeting our brand across similar age groups, for example, right? We got 300 toys and 50 of them are for 2-year-old girls. All of them are targeting each other, right? Give me 1 second. Okay. At what point do we turn on defensive targeting ads?
Defensive targeting ads.
Like our own campaigns target, like keyword, like products targeting our own from launch. From what day during launch?
Sometimes you like gonna have a keyword rank.
So we do it pretty early on.
Yeah.
Like week 1 or 2.
Keyword rank and you see the trending is good. If the trending is good, then you can just turn on it. But if the trending is not good, they have to fix it already.
So it really is going to come down to trends. Like this is where you're monitoring the routes that are performing well. The keywords are moving in the right direction. You're indexing. If things are dialed in from an optimization and traffic standpoint, then you can start to do that. So it could be day 7, it could be day 20. It really depends on how quickly you can get things dialed in and moving in the right direction.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Great
Thank
question. I didn't know the answer to that. That was great.
you. I have a question. Do you do virtual bundles when you launch?
We do a lot of virtual bundles. We get the report. It's a handful of sales a day. I don't know.
I just saw that it takes up a lot of room on the search page. So it
depends how deep that category is. If that category is narrow and you can make bundles that still show up on page 1, yeah, that's awesome.
Well, no, but I mean on your page, once they click on your page, then the bundle.
Oh,
right
yeah. You want to turn those on too. Plus,
And
you
then-
want to do coupon stacks. There's a lot of things you want to do besides the
because-
defensive ads. Yeah.
Because then they won't see your competitors' ads so easily. They'll have to scroll a lot further
Yeah,
down.
you want to try to take up as many of that real estate as possible, but make sure you've dialed in and everything's moving in the right direction. Your keyword ranks are starting, like you're already on page 1 and moving.
All right, cool. Thank you.
No problem. Javi.
Hey man. So I have this question if the inch bid up method is still valid. So basically you choose like a mid-level bid and you start pushing up and seeing if your impressions and your clicks start getting better and find like that sweet spot. And if that would be better, instead of pushing your bids too high and then having to optimize and pull them back down, wouldn't you be spending more that way?
Now, so at launch, it's really
Yes.
important you get the traffic. It's too
Okay.
important to take the time to wait and try to squeeze an extra couple pennies per click. Now, for the broad and the phrase and the other match types, if you're not getting the impressions, you can start to squeeze it up.
Okay.
But at launch, you need add to carts, you need traffic, you need conversion. There's no way for you to establish any type of history with Amazon otherwise. So you have to be aggressive.
Okay. And the bid strategy is down only?
We're using down only to begin with, but the way it works is if you're not getting any impressions, you increase the bid. If you're still not getting impressions, you turn on top of search multiplier.
Okay. Great, man. Thank you.
No problem. The other part of that is that you also check, if you're not getting bids, you check the indexing. Maybe there's an issue with the title. You want to put it in your title and you want to see if that impacts it, if that might unlock the relevancy, and then your bids start showing up. So before you do top of search, check your indexing.
Okay, man. Thanks.
No problem. This was a lot of fun. A a lot of work went into all the slides, the presentations, the teaching. So please leave a review, and 6 hours is enough. I'm ready to go to bed. So I hope you guys are as well. Very grateful for all of you. I will see you hopefully in Prosper. I'm going to send out an email this week with all of the happenings over the next couple months, with discount codes, travel plans. You can start to book. We've got Japan, we've got Hong Kong, we've got Guangzhou in China, we've got Vegas, we got Fort Lauderdale. We got a lot of events coming up, so I'm hoping to see you guys soon. Have a good night, everyone.